Let's get things started. Ready? Go!
What's up, guys? It's the legendary Jjkm back on another video, and let's go. So I want to talk about the recent chapters of the spin-off sequel to Jujutsu Kaisen that goes by Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. Am I saying that shit right? Is it Modulo or is it Modulo? Either way, Jjkm. There we go, Jjkm. And the recent implications, what's going on. So in the most recent chapter, we have the grandchildren of Yuta and Maki essentially fighting for the sovereignty of the earth. Now, what I find so funny about this situation, right, is that you have these, quite literally, you have these illegal aliens.
They were illegal aliens
who come to Earth and then start demanding shit, which is wild to me. Like, it's the premise is so crazy because it's like, how the fuck do you come to another people's planet and then because they're doing things that you don't like on their planet that you just got here, right? That you just flew across the stars to get here, you're now making declarations of war saying, hey, sorcerers cannot exercise curses because we realize that the curses on your planet resemble people of our same race on our planet. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I don't care who they resemble. This is Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that shit, the premise to me is so crazy, especially when you, like, you know, frame it up against recent events, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
You know, crazy premise. Hilarious though, right? But in the recent chapter, you know, like I said earlier, we have the grandchildren, remember great-great-grandchildren, the grandchildren of Yuta and Maki, right? Yuka and Tsurugi. Mitsurugi? I forgot. His name reminds me of the Hita Mitsurugi style from Rurouni Kenshin. I'm gonna call it Mitsurugi, fuck it. And Mitsurugi, right? So as we find out that like Yuka's illness essentially took her ass out. She summons Big Raga, the op stopper, and Raga's going to work. You know, Raga's doing this thing, adapting. We adapt or we die. He's adapting, right? And it's just funny to me how Raga's win rate in this entire like anime, both original and spin-off, not original, not spin-off, a sequel, is 0. But the people he's been matched up against have been none other than the strongest motherfuckers in the verse. Went up against Sukuna. Went up against Gojo. Now, apparently, this Dabara Kabara is a calamity level threat equal to or greater than Sukuna and his prime. And he's just like, fuck it, baby. We adapt. Clink, clink the wheel. Clink, clink. We adapt. It's crazy. It's so fire to me how like you have a character who hasn't won yet, but still has so much respect from the community because he's just that nigga. He's just that dominant. Like, it's like whenever you see Raga, you know, oh shit, it's getting serious. Get your hard hats. It's getting serious. Hazmat gear on. It's getting dangerous in here. Like, it's crazy. It's so crazy. But, you know, Raga starts to do his thing, adapting. And Dabara I'm gonna say Dabura. Yeah, Dabura. Dabura is like, giving the nonchalant like energy blast. This creature is different. This creature is interesting. And Raga is just like, let's get active. Let's get active. Like, where are you going? I'm right here. Where are you going? And it's funny to me because Raga doesn't seem to have a particular like style of fighting, if you look at it. But I guess maybe that's a key part of his character, because having a style would, in essence, having a style of fighting is restrictive, right? And if your whole thing is to adapt, you have to be free flowing. To quote Jet Li, be like water. If you put water into a cup, it takes the shape of the cup. If you put it into a bowl, it forms to the bowl. Be water, right? So maybe that's why his fighting style is so. It has no like form, it has no form to it. It's just, I want to hit you, right? So they're going back and forth, and we see that Dabura's technique is something akin to like, I would say maybe it's like a 4D kind of thing, because apparently it's the killing instinct of his people mixed with light. So maybe it's a 4-dimensional kind of thing where we had who was the girl? I forgot. Tsukumo. Her ability was virtual mass, right? Though mass isn't 4-dimensional, to be able to, on response, command mass on yourself and your. Oh my God! Who is texting? Who was that? What the fuck?
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay.
I thought I turned all this shit off. Okay, let me get back to this. But yeah, like, to have that kind of ability is kind of breaking when you think about it, right? But his ability is akin to that, and it's so crazy how it functions, because it's almost like it has a solid. It's almost like a solid light, in a sense. But him and Dabura going back and forth, getting equal exchanges in. Maharaga gets destroyed. But again, if you adapt, if either I adapt or I die, right? So if it doesn't kill me, I'm coming back, right? And he figures out, oh, this fool's learning. So now, I guess in the next chapter we get, he's gonna try to pull out the showstopper. So just like what Sukuna did. Like, if you remember, when Sukuna realized that, oh, not only can he see my slashes, now he's further adapting to be able to compensate with them. Again, spoiler for those who haven't read Jjkm, eventually, in a different kind of scenario, Maharaga adapts and evolves to counter Godo's affinity by making his slashes become a Jjkm. If you don't know what a Jjkm is a very common weapon type in anime. I think the first time I ever saw a Jjkm was in Yu Yu Hakusho with Kuwabara's fully evolved spirit sword. Remember, his sword can cut through dimensional spaces, as well as, cut you. So, and then I think the second time I saw it was in one of my favorite anime and manga, Rosario Vampire. One of the demon head lords, his main ability was the dimension cut, a Jjkm, but he could do like full body. But aside from that, Dabura realizes that Maharaga's adapting, and I believe in the next chapter he's probably gonna bring out his trump card. Now, sliding over to I think it's Maru and Mitsurugi, they're going back and forth, and Mitsurugi pulls out his ability, Chaos and Harmony. I feel like it resembles Stairway to Heaven from JoJo's Stone Ocean, right? Everything's topsy-turvy, up is down, down is up, left is right, etc., etc. Mitsurugi can't get a solid foot on the ground, and Maru is just beating his ass. But then, at the last hour, and in moments from defeat, moments from giving it all up, Yuta's ring glows amongst the rubble, and we hear the voice of the Queen of Curses once again. And she's like, ugh, of course you look like that woman, but Yuta made me promise, so say accept. And you know, Mitsurugi doesn't know who this bitch is. Don't know who the fuck this bitch is. So he's like, if I say yes, will we win? And Rika's like, nigga, of course. Do you know who I am? So, you know, now this is an interesting precedent, right? Because remember, or if you don't know, Mitsurugi is like his grandmother, Maki, who was like her uncle, Toji, heavily restricted. But there's obviously a clear difference in the, I guess, severity or the intensity of the restriction. Because Toji's restriction had him, I wouldn't even say beyond superhuman. It was like he was in a different realm, right? And likewise with Maki, she was in once she fully awakened and, you know, came to terms with what she is and who she is and how her life is now, after going through that domain expansion with that sumo guy during the Culling Games, she unburdened herself and reached a new level, a level that we didn't even see from Toji, which makes me think that maybe because Toji hated himself, and let's be real, Toji did hate himself. Maybe because of that, because he was burdened with that guilt and that sorrow and that pain, he really wasn't able to fully maximize his restriction the way we saw with Maki. Because by the end of Maki's whole saga, she was fully unburdened. Like, she let it all go, you know? So her grandson, Mitsurugi, has the same restriction. And I find it fascinating that we really for the first time, we get to see what happens when a heavily restricted person gains access to one of, if not the most powerful the most powerful cursed item in the show's history. Yuta Okotsu's ring that houses all of the cursed energy, the tools, the abilities, stolen abilities with this copy of Rika. And it also begs the question, right, is that, so we know that his little sister Yuka is dead, right? Would it be possible if let's say he beats Maru real fast and races over to find Yuka, right? And what if he can't save her? Does this Rika have Yuta's copy ability? And if she does, and if she kept all the copied abilities that Yuta took throughout the years until he died, right? Would it be possible then for Rika to eat Yuka, take the 10 shadows as a copied ability within her arsenal, right? And then now you have a heavily restricted, curse tool using Mitsurugi, who has the copied ability of the 10 shadows. Now, just saying that just seems like some, Ichigo from Bleach. I'm a Quincy, I'm a human, I'm a Fullbring, I'm a Hollow, I'm a Soul Reaper, like all the things at once, right? It does sound like that. But then at the same time, I have to remember that our boy Yuji is a Death Wound painting who's also human, who is also, because he was in such close proximity with Sukuna, also has Sukuna's dexterity and, more importantly, his curse technique and his domain expansion, and who also has bubble manipulation. So if Yuji can be this smorgasbord of powers and abilities, why can't we see that again in Mitsurugi? That's my question to y'all. But yeah, like that's the thought that I had in my head. I was like, could it be possible? Like, could he do it? Like, tell me if what I'm cooking is too much right now. To tell me if my recipe is going off the rails, because I'm just free thinking right now. But yeah, like that's what came to my head. But once Mitsurugi and Rico, agree, right, to the vow and fuse, he comes out looking like a fucking alien. He looks like the Predalien, right? Alien head, but then dreadlocks in the back. And he immediately whoops Maru's ass, like immediately off the pitch, like a fucking egoist. Blitzes the fuck out of Maru. Maru's like, "What is this?" And then that's where the chapter ends. So I'm assuming maybe this week, this Sunday, we should get the newest chapter. If not, we have to learn patience. I'm tired of seeing mangakas bail out because they get sick and shit, so I'm not gonna push it. But if not, we'll have to wait. But yeah, like things are looking so good, and to imagine that this is only I think it's like a limited series run for Modulo. So I don't know how Gege is gonna pack it all in, or even what they're going to explain to us so far. But it's looking really nice. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Peace.